part, okay? Then we will talk about applied part. It will be easier for you to understand. This is the sample of resume. Last time we had discussed up to here. All these theoretical portions, let's complete. What is given in the theory that you must know. Then we will discuss further. Okay? Then you will write resume. Then we will do the assignment from this unit after completing the theoretical part. Up to here we had discussed, yes? Getting started.
I think today is the assignment day.
Assignment day. Assignment I have checked, I think. Last time I sent the record, assignment record, your assignment record to the department. I submitted that. Okay, so let's discuss this, right? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Today let's discuss. Next week, whatever assignment I give.
ग्रेड त भएको छैन त तपाईले एउटा दुईटा मात्रै चेक गर्नुभयो होला एउटा दुईटा मात्रै चेक गर्नुभयो होला कि चेक गरेको असाइनमेन्ट पनि सबै स्टुडेन्ट्सको गर्नुभएको छैन होला
Whatever you had submitted, I have checked.
छैन सर एक दुईवटा बाहेक कुनै पनि ग्रेड भएकै छैन एकदम सेप्टेम्बर 28 देखिकै ग्रेड भएको छैन सर तपाईले एक दुई जना विद्यार्थीको मात्रै गर्नुभयो होला सबैको गर्नुभएको छैन अझ पुछारतिर हुनेको गर्नुभएको छैन जस्तो छ
मेरो पनि भएको छैन धेरै चेक हुनु बाँकी छ
यसलाई यसो गर्छु अब यसलाई म रातिमा चेक गर्छु at night.
सर सबै गर्नु है सुरुदेखि पहिलेको सबै विद्यार्थीको गर्नु है हेरेर राम्रोसँग
I'll check at night. Okay? ठिक छ I'll check at night today.
छ सर हुन्छ सर हुन्छ
So getting started on employment communication. That is, for employment communication, we have to write resume or you have to write, letter, job application. Sometimes that is, you have to write resignation letter if you are going to resign from the job. How to write that letter, that you will learn. And sometimes you have to write follow-up letter. Follow-up letter means suppose you have been called for the interview, right? You have been called for the interview. You have passed your written test. Now you have been called for the interview. How to give thanks to the employer, okay, for calling for the interview. So that is called follow-up letter. So how to write that follow-up letter? These are the things you learn here. So writing resume, then cover letter, writing resume, cover letter, that is job application, then follow-up letter, then resignation letter. Okay, so see the here what is given, assess your strengths. I mean, if you are going to write that is resume or cover letter or follow-up letter, resignation letter, then what are the things you keep in mind? That is given here. Okay, so good employment communication begins with self-assessment. Self-assessment means self-evaluation. So you have to evaluate yourself. And you can evaluate yourself on the basis of these points. The first point is education. So what is your grade point, GPA? What special classes have prepared you for a particular job? What kind of classes you have already taken and that suit this job? What degrees do you hold? Where did you go to school? When did you graduate? So all these comes in education. Then you have employment. What jobs have you held? Previous jobs. Write the job title, city and state, and dates for each job you now have or have previously held. So what kind of job you are recently having, or what kind of job you have recently done. Okay, so all these things you can mention here. So describe your duties and special projects on the job. Be specific. So here, describe your duties and special projects on the job. Be specific. Whatever jobs you are doing and whatever jobs you have done. So what kinds of duties you have carried out that you can mention in employment. Accomplishment, that is awards. Okay, list your accomplishment, scholastic, job related, extracurricular or community over the last several years. Uh, right? Okay, see. So employment accomplishment. See, what skills include any honors or awards you received? Whatever awards you have previously got for the work, and that you can mention. What skills do these accomplishments and honors illustrate? Would these skills be useful in the workplace? So here in accomplishment, you can mention your awards. If you have got any awards, any honors for the previous work, for the previous duties, that you can mention here. Then skills, what are your special talents? What can you do well? Are you a good problem solver, creative thinker, good communicator? Do you have a special skill sets with computer, machinery sales? Make a list, even if it overlaps with something you have already written. So now, then after accomplishment, you have in skills. So here you can mention your special talents, your special skills. You may have the skills, you may have the knowledge of computer, machinery, differentials. Okay, so so all these things you can mention here in skills part. What work you can do well, what work you can do well, that you can mention here. Character or personality traits. So what kind of character you have? Good character, bad character. Okay, so are you dependable? Are you honest? Are you flexible? Okay, are you outgoing? Outgoing means friendly. Are you friendly? है ना, कि फ्रेंडली हो, कि एकदम रिसाहा हो, के हो, calm and optimistic. So what kind of character or personality traits you have, that you can mention here. Now all the by these points, on the basis of these points, you can make evaluation of your, that is, you can make your own evaluation. You can make self-evaluation. On the basis of these points, you can evaluate yourself. आफूलाई मूल्याङ्कन गर्न सक्छ. Now, so you are applying for the job. So you will work under someone. कसैको अन्डरमा काम गर्छौ. So now, what are so you have to judge your prospective employer. So whoever is going to provide you the job, okay, so you have to evaluate that person. You have to make an evaluation of the employer. Okay, so now how can you do that? See, to learn, okay, learn all you can about your prospective employer, the company, and the job. Okay, call the human resources office and find out about the company's hiring practice. Do you know anyone who works for and or used to work for this company? Now see, so here you have to judge the company. So what are the practices? What are the hiring practices of the company? How does the company hire certain person? Okay, so what are the criteria? On what criteria, on what basis the company hires someone or the person hires someone? Okay, so your employer, your prospective employer will be the company. Your prospective employer will be the certain particular person. Okay, so you must know about the criteria that the company follows, that the person follows in order to hire the person. के क्राइटेरिया छ उसको त्यो बुझ्नु पर्यो. अब now who will be, see, if you can find the answers to the following questions, now ask these questions to yourself in order to make a good research of your employer. In order to know about your employer, ask these questions to yourself. On the basis of these questions, you can find a good employer. So who will be responsible for making the decision to hire you? Who is going to make the major decision in order to employ you, in order to appoint you? Whose decision is final? What kind of person is he or she? So you must know about that. An individual or a community? Is it an individual, or is it a community? Sorry, committee, and that is going to select you. Is it an individual that is going to select you, or is it a committee that is going to select you? Who is going to select you? Individual or committee? Okay. If it is an individual, what position does that person hold? If you know that certain individual is going to appoint you, then what kind of position, what kind of post that person has, you must know about it. What skills is he or she looking for in an employee? Okay, so that person is going to appoint you, that person is going to select you. So what skills that person is looking for in the employee? What skills he or she is looking for in you? Okay, that you have to know. Then what can you find out about the company? Its mission statement, its current projects, its organization, its opening, or its past record. Now about the company, what you have to know. So what are its current projects? What kind of organization it is? Okay, what is its past record? Okay, what are the things that are currently in practice in the company? All these things you have to know. Then what can you learn about the position for which you are applying? What would you be expected to do, and with whom would you work? See, so for whatever post you are going to apply, what you have to learn about that post, so that you will work efficiently, you will work effectively. What would you be expected to do? What the company expects you to do when you are selected. Okay, or with whom would you work, or with what kind of person you are going to work in the company? Okay, with whom you are going to work? All these things you have to know. Okay, then if you know about all these things, then it will be easier for you to work in the company, and you will feel comfortable. Okay, choose your references. See, references means the people under whom you have already worked, or under whom you are currently working, or under whom you have taken some training. Okay, who are the persons under whom you have taken some training? You have got some special skill, you have obtained some special skills. So who are the persons under whom you are currently working? Who are the persons under whom you have previously worked? Okay, so in references you have to write the name of those people. Okay, so a reference is a person. A reference is a person who knows you well enough to vouch for your skills and your character. So that is, in a reference, you should write the name of only that person who knows you very well. Okay, and who can support your skills, who can support your character. So you can write the name of only that person. Okay, so choose 3 to 5 people to include as references. In references, you can write 3 to 5 people, minimum 3, maximum 5. No, don't write more than 5. Okay, and see, so here you have educational references, and then you have personal references. See, in educational references, if you are going to mention educational references, okay, actually you write only references, but in references, if you are going to include educational references, then whom you can include? You can include the instructors under whom you have taken some training, or that is who have taught you. Then advisors, you can mention the name of guidance, counselors. So that is who gave you the counseling. So also can attest to your abilities, including only personal references. If you are going to include any personal references, so before include the name of that person, you must ask the person, because if the company wants to know about you in detail, then that company might telephone that person. Okay, and so that's why that is before including the name of that person in references, you have to ask that in a person, in that personal reference. So personal reference, someone who knows you well outside the workplace. So in personal reference, so in personal reference, you can write the name of that person, okay, who is outside the workplace, wherever you are working. That person is not involved there. That person is outside the workplace. That may be that may be any social worker. Okay, so that is who is outside the workplace. So that is called that person is called personal reference. Okay, before you list someone as a reference, ask the person to agree to be a reference for you. If this person hesitates or says no, ask someone else. Okay, so before going to that is mention somebody's name in reference, you must ask that person. If that person agrees, you mention the name of that person. If the person disagrees, don't mention the name of that person, because the company, so where you are applying for the post, vacant post, may contact that person anytime. Okay. And then here, who reads employment communication? I mean, all these are the things we are discussing so that you can write a good resume, you can write a good job application. Okay. Who reads employment communication? Whether you write resume, or you write resignation letter, or you write job application, or you write that is one more given. What is that? See, okay, follow-up letter. So who reads that? Who reads employment communication? Okay. So to write the best employment communication possible, you must understand your audience by considering the employer's perspective and expectation. So you must focus on the employer's perspective. That is, what is the way of looking? So that is what is the perspective, what is the attitude of the employer. Okay, and what are his expectations, what he expects, what he or she expects from you, that must be clear to you. Okay, so here, employer's perspective. See, generally employers seek someone whose credentials merit their company's needs, whose personality fits with their current staff, and whose career plan complements their goals. So generally, employers, employers are in search of those people whose certificates, whose credentials meet their company's needs. Okay, whose personality is suitable to the current staff, whose career plan is complementary to the goals. Okay, so employers are interested in an applicant's education, experience, skills, and work habit. Okay, generally the employers who are going to provide the job, okay, those people are interested in applicant's education. What kind of education the applicant has, what experience the applicant has, what skills the applicant has, what work habits the applicant has. Okay, so you can satisfy the employer with your education, you can satisfy your employer with experience, you can satisfy your employer with skills and work habits. So employers that is in a search in these things. Employers also want employees who have personal and professional integrity. Integrity means honesty. Honesty is a big point. Okay, that is, wherever you are applying, if you are not honest, you cannot continue the job there. Okay, you must have personal integrity, honesty. You must have professional integrity. You must maintain honesty in the office. Okay, if you are not honest, then anytime you can lose your job. Okay, so that's why personal integrity and professional integrity, I mean honesty, integrity is a big point. Okay, and all the employers are in search of integrity in the employees. Your resume and cover letter show employers that you have the skills they need. So whatever resume you write, whatever job application you prepare, in the job application you mention the skills, and the employers from your job application, from your resume, find the skills that they need. If the skills are suited to whatever the employers require, then you will be selected. If that is not suited, then you will not be selected. At this stage, the resume and letters are the only means employers have of knowing who you are and what you can do for them. Okay, so it is from the resume or it is from the cover letter, job application, the employers can easily know who you are and what you can do. Okay, so the goal of a resume and a cover letter is to create enough interest to be granted an interview. The goal of the interview is to persuade an employer to hire you. Sometimes what happens, you don't have any written test. You will be only called for interview, and on the basis of interview, you are provided job. That is, sometimes it happens. Okay, without written test, you are called for interview. Then, so you are called for interview on what basis? On the basis of your cover letter, on the basis of your resume. Sometimes it happens. You don't have to face written test. You have to submit your application. You have to submit your resume, and on the basis of application and resume, you are called for interview. Okay, so if your resume can satisfy the employer, if your cover letter can satisfy your employer, then you will be called for interview. Okay, and see, if you are called for interview, then your 50% work is over. Okay, if you are called for interview, then your 50% work is over, finished. So the goal of the interview is to persuade an employer to hire you. Interview ma ke cha? In interview, so whatever questions you are asked, you answer the questions satisfactorily. And here, your main purpose should be to persuade the employer, to convince the employer. If that is in interview, if you can convince the employer, then you are selected. If you fail to convince, isn't it? If you talk about yourself a lot, if you don't pay attention to the questions the employer asks, and if you don't give the answers in satisfactory way, if your answers can't satisfy the employer, then you will not be selected. So the main purpose of the interview is to convince the employer. If you are able to convince, then you will be selected. Now, employers' expectations. So these are employers' perspective, and then you have employers' expectations. So now, employment communication must contain no errors. Whatever job application, resume you write, there should not be any kind of errors. Resumes with misspelling, there should not be any kind of spelling mistake. There should not be any kind of typos, typing mistakes. There should not be any kind of punctuation errors. Okay. So look neat and professional. Your job application, your resume must look neat, must look professional, and follow an accepted format. Whatever format is accepted by everybody, you follow only that format, and emphasize your best qualities. So whatever best qualities you have, you put, that is emphasis on those qualities. Okay. Now, formatting and organizing resume. So how to format, how to write resume in a good format, and how to put the things in proper order in a resume. So making your resume stand out. You should try your best to make your resume stand out. Stand out means unique. You should make your resume unique. Okay, it should be unique. If it is unique, only then there is high chance of being selected. Now, see, generally what happens, like a newspaper ad, the resume must impress a reader in little space. All of you have seen newspaper ad, okay? So newspaper ad, what newspaper ad does? It impresses the readers. If the ad impresses you, you buy that newspaper. If the ad doesn't impress you, don't buy that newspaper. See here, have you ever noticed how some words in your newspaper or magazine ad jump out at you? Those words in large bold types, surrounded by white space. The ad is designed to create an immediate impression in a small amount of space. When you see any newspaper, so there are some words in bold face, okay? Some words in bold type. If the words in bold type can attract your attention, then you want to buy that newspaper. It means you are impressed and you buy the newspaper. In the same way, so you have to do in resume. Like a newspaper ad, the resume must impress a reader in a little space. After all, you are designing an ad and selling yourself. Your skills and your expertise to a prospective employer. So by writing resume, what you are doing? You are selling yourself. You are selling yourself. You are selling your skills. You are selling your expertise to the employer. And who is the buyer? The employer is buyer. You are the seller. You are selling yourself to the employer. You are selling your skills to the employer. You are okay. So you are say so your skills and your expertise to a prospective employer. So you are selling all these skills and expertise to the employer. Okay, so that's why that must be unique. That must be peculiar. You want your most impressive qualifications to jump out at the employer during his or her first glance at your resume. Okay, so whatever qualifications you have, okay, you should make your qualifications, you should present your qualifications in impressive way so that it can easily impress the employer at the first glance. And so resume can be completed in 1 page, or it can also be completed in 2 page. Okay, 1 page or 2 page resume is acceptable. Generally, electronic resume may be longer. Electronic resume, it is longer. And here 1 page, what kind of resume is 1 page? So for a high school student or a newly graduate college student, the resume should be only 1 page. That is, if you people are preparing a resume, so that will be only 1 page, because you haven't worked anywhere yet, and you are still fresh. Okay, so you will mention your previous educational qualifications. You don't have any experience. Okay, so that's why whatever you people whatever resume you people write, that will be 1 page long. But generally, if you have impressive work experience, if you have a lot of work experience, then let's say 15-year 20-year work experience, then obviously that will be 2-page resume. Okay, so 1 page or 2-page resume is acceptable, not more than this. And yeah, electronic resume may be longer. Electronic resume, so what is electronic resume? You will know later. So let's see. Now here you have special features such as bold facing, underlining, italicizing, capitalizing, bullets, asterisks, make important information stand out. Okay. So if you are going to make certain information, you are going to focus on certain information in resume, okay, or in job application, then you can use these features. You can take help of boldface, underlining, italicize. You can italicize the words. You can capitalize. You can use bullets for the lists or asterisks. By using these features, you can make your information important, look important. You can make the information look important. Okay, but too many special features can make your resume appear cluttered and busy, but don't use these features a lot. The resume should look symmetric and balanced. Your resume should be balanced. Your names should stand out in a large bold-faced type. Your name should be bold-faced. Headings should be easy, and the font size, that is the size of the letter that you type. The font size should be 10 to 12 point, minimum 10, maximum 12 point type when you type the things. Okay. So choose a layout, that is you have to write the resume in standard format, acceptable format. Okay. Your resume must include basic information. Now, deciding which headings to include. What are things you are going to include in resume? So your resume must include basic information. And what is the basic information? In basic information, you have, say, your basic information consists of your identification, your education, your work experience. This is the basic information that you can include in resume. Your identification, your education, and your experience. These 3 points come in basic information in resume. So in identification, what you can do? You can include your name, your complete address, your telephone number, your email address, and then for address, you can include your permanent address also, temporary address also. Both you can include. You may include a permanent and temporary address. Now, in education, another point in basic information in resume, education, include the name, city, and state of the schools from which you graduated, from which school you graduated. Mention the name of the school, city of the school, and state, that is Pradesh, Rajya, which state. Your dates of attendance and graduation or expected date of graduation, your dates of attendance, your attendance dates. Then, your when you graduated, so that very date. Your major course of study. Sometimes it is helpful to include a specific courses you took, what specific courses you took, you studied. Academic honors, if you got any awards that you mentioned. Your overall GPA, and then your GPA in major classes, okay? And any extracurricular activity, if you have any extracurricular activity, that also you mention. If you already have a post-secondary degree after secondary one, then that also you can mention. It is not necessary to list your high school degree. And here, you not necessary to mention high school degree. You can avoid that. Then work experience. In work experience, what you can write? Include the name, city, and state of the company. Okay? In which company you have already worked. Mention the name of the company. Mention the name of the city where the company is located, and state, Pradesh, where the company is located, and the position or title and description of duties. What position, what post you had, okay, in that company, what post you had, and what duties you carried out. So make a brief description of duties, if that is related to the job for which you are currently applying, okay. So if those duties are related to the job for which you are applying, You also give a brief description of the duties. You also may include promotions and special accomplishments and skills. So, have you been, that is, had you been, promoted in that in a company? Did you, get in any promotion in the company? You mentioned that also. A special accomplishment, that is, if you have any got any awarded, that also you can mention, and skills. These are the things you can mention in basic information. Okay, all these are basic information in resume.